Below this video in the description, I have shared a couple of studies that have really revolutionized my way of training my athletes when I first read them a couple of years ago. All of those three studies, they highlight one very important concept, and that is the concept of mental effort when you're doing an athletic activity like lifting, whether it comes to strength training or power training or speed training, velocity, whatever. The very important concept is high mental effort on every single repetition. Those studies, they have two groups, and those two groups, they perform the same exercises, okay, with the same weight. For one group, if it's 40 kilos weight, for the other groups it's 40 kilos too. But one group is told to lift the weights just casually, just finish the lift. But the other group is told to lift the weights with speed, with high mental effort. And then after a couple of weeks, they analyze like the performance gains from both of those groups. Even though the weight was the same, the high mental effort group's adaptation increased significantly more in all of those studies. Whether they were doing the bench press or the leg extension machine, I don't remember exactly what kind of procedures there were, but the studies are down here. We can check them out if you want. And the point is that mental effort increases the adaptation, the performance gains you get from an exercise. So it's not always about how heavy the lift is, it's not always about how many reps and sets you have. They are important, yes, but also a very important concept is executing every lift with high mental effort. For instance, let's say you're performing at your record capacity, like a 1 repetition maximum on the deadlift or the back squat, your record, okay? Then because of the weight is so heavy, by default you have to put forth a lot of mental effort, otherwise the weight will not go up, it's so heavy. If you could use that same mindset on your other days while you're doing lighter weights, for example 70% of your 1 repetition maximum, let's say it's 5 sets of 5 reps when it's lighter weight, then your adaptation will increase. The problem here is that the weight will not be heavy, so you kind of take that for granted and you don't put forth a lot of mental effort. And this is the problem with a lot of training interventions like power training, for example. In power training, when you do plyometrics like jumps or medicine ball throws, the weight is actually very light. And because the weight is so light, it's hard to put forth, a lot of mental effort for an adaptation to happen. And that is for the simple fact, once again, that the weight is light and we take it for granted. And this skill, I want all of my athletes to develop this skill of putting forth a lot of mental effort in any exercise that they are doing to increase this power adaptation. Because like I say in most of my videos, power, an explosive or a powerful action, it begins with a thought. Your brain sends signals to your muscles that are about to perform the action through the spinal cord, and it wants to recruit as many motor units as possible. Those are small muscle segments that the more of them that you recruit, the stronger and more powerful the action will be. And the hard part is in recruiting as many as possible. That is the hard part, and this is a skill. It takes a very long time to develop this skill. For example, let's say you're gonna throw a ball as far as you possibly can. Let's say you throw it 20 meters. And I ask you, was that all you got? And you say, yes, it's all I got. You throw it again, it's 20 meters. Okay, this is gonna sound a little bit sick, but let's imagine you have a gun towards your head now. And the guy who holds the gun, he tells you, okay, if you don't throw this 5 more meters than your previous attempt was 20 meters. If you don't throw this 25 meters, I'm gonna shoot you. Now you have the motivation to put forth as much mental effort as you possibly can, because otherwise you're gonna meet your maker. So you recruit as many motor units as you possibly can. You think fast, you think speed, you think power, whatever works for you, and you throw that goddamn ball as far as you possibly can. And this will probably be the furthest throw you have ever thrown in your life, and that is because you have high mental effort. And this is the essence of adapting to when it comes to strength training or power training and all of that, it is mental effort. So one simple mind trick to not only increase this adaptation that I just talked about, but also lift with more strength, with more power. Let's say you have a heavy deadlift that you're gonna perform. Instead of thinking, I need to get this deadlift up, or I need to lift this deadlift with brute strength, which we naturally think. Instead, think of it like this. This deadlift, I need to finish with speed. I need to finish this deadlift like it needs to be locked out in the shortest amount of time possible. Because now you can actually visualize like the lift being finished quickly, with speed, just rapid. If you instead think like, I need to lift this with strength, how do you visualize that? Like, how do you visualize a strong lift? It's not like enough stimulus for your brain, your body, like your imagination to execute that, to send the right signals to your muscles. If you instead think, I need to lift this weight with speed, now you actually have a reference, like you can visualize actually lifting the weight with speed. And speed, when we lift something with speed, it naturally becomes more powerful. Because power is force times velocity. Speed kills. I try to make all of my athletes understand this concept in whatever it is that they are doing. Now there are exceptions to this rule, of course. There is a hierarchy. And the hierarchy is proper positioning first and then comes speed. And when I say speed, I mean the concentric portion of the lift. For example, if you're doing a back squat, I'm not saying that you should just crash the bottom and go up with speed. No. I am saying that you should perform the eccentric portion with control, relaxed, like tense in the muscles and all of that, and then go up with speed. For an exercise like the deadlift, you don't have an eccentric portion. It's just lift. It's just the concentric portion. There you can just go speed. But in the bench press, for example, it has an eccentric and a concentric portion. So you go down with control and up with speed. The concentric portion should be done with speed. Have that as a thumb rule. And also, before you do something fast, you need to have the proper positioning. If an athlete cannot perform a bench press or a deadlift, whatever exercise it is, with the proper biomechanics, then it's too early for me to instruct them to go with speed. Once I have taught them to learn the biomechanics in a pace that they can understand, then I instruct them to perform every repetition with speed, mental effort. That is the key takeaway from this video. Thanks for watching.